G'day guys, alright, Dan from Outech here. We are in a fantasy 13-foot hybrid. Now, this is probably one of these vans that will have the biggest system per foot of length of caravan that you'll probably come across. This, as I say, is a 13-foot hybrid, so not only is it shorter, but it's also thinner, because hybrid vans aren't as wide as regular caravans. So this van has had a system put in it that has 1150 watts of solar on the roof. It's got a 3000 MultiPlus. It's got a 24 volt, 225 amp hour battery, which is equivalent to 450 amp hour in 12 volt for those that would like to know. And basically it's been fully integrated and reticulated through the van from a 240 volt perspective. We've done tanks through the Victron system. Yeah, so this van is awesome. It's so good. First of all, for those that are interested in what you're probably thinking about, which is the fact that this is a pop-top caravan, this actually has a air system in the roof. So what that means is basically there's airbags throughout the side of the canvas, which you turn a compressor on, which I'll do now. So that compressor pumps the airbags up and lifts the roof. So essentially the additional weight on the roof from the solar panels, which there are 5 solar panels up there, adds roughly about 60 kilos of additional weight on the roof. So obviously if you were lifting that manually, you would need to do some adjustments to gas struts and all that sort of stuff. But because this has got the airbag system on the side, super easy to pop the roof up. It just kind of does it itself. You just give it a little helping hand at either end. So that takes care of that as a first step. So yes, that's a lot of weight on a pop top, but it can handle it. It's an aluminium frame roof. It's aluminium on top. It's actually aluminium sheet, so it's not even aluminium cladding. And there's heaps of structure through the roof, so that handles the extra weight, no problems at all. So what we've done with this van is because it is so small, the air conditioner is a lot smaller than a traditional air conditioner would be. So like this is the little guy in regards to caravan roof mounted air conditioner. I think it's 2400 watt or something like that cooling capacity. So it's obviously quite small. This is only a small van. So it doesn't use as much energy. So we can get away with using a smaller battery in this size van. But even still, 225 amp hour at 24 volt is huge. It's a massive battery. So
Dan, can you tell us what the van came with?
Right, so the van came with, well, you can turn around and have a look here actually. So the van actually came with a couple of AGMs. There was a little tiny solar regulator down here where we've mounted the Touch.
It's in the box?
Yeah, it's in the box, and it's also, it had a 1000 watt inverter, and it had a little 30 amp 240 volt charger. So it didn't have a DCDC charger. The little 1000 watt inverter obviously isn't going to be able to do much in terms of running appliances or anything like that. You can maybe get away with running a really small pod machine, maybe.
So
generally
the inverter
not.
is for your 240 volt appliances when off grid?
Yeah, so your inverter does your 240 volt appliances when you're off grid. It definitely wasn't able to run the air conditioner.
Yeah, and you mentioned the DCDC, so they didn't have one. What's the problem with that?
So if you don't have a DC-DC charger inbuilt in your van that's mounted close to your battery, then you're relying on voltage coming from the tow vehicle to the van at a certain level. And what happens with voltage over a distance through cable, it's unavoidable, is volt drop. So as current increases, voltage decreases over the length of a cable. So what that basically means is that if your system is an extended distance away from your charging alternator, which is at the front of your vehicle, and you've got your system at the back of your van, then you're going to have a significant amount of volt drop. So you're not going to get a lot of charge in through your system if you're using AGMs.
Right. So did they have a DC-DC at all?
No.
So they weren't able to charge full stop?
No, they would be getting a little bit of trickle charge in through the Anderson plug that was there, but not significant amount.
Okay.
So the other problem that you've got as well is people's vans are generally coming with lithium batteries now, and a charging alternator isn't really able to charge lithium battery in a van without a DC-DC charger. Right. You also don't want to connect two different chemistries up. It's not really ideal even to connect an AGM up to a cranking battery in a car straight without something isolating between the two, which is a DC-DC charger.
So that's one of the key considerations when you're going from AGM to lithium. Certainly need to consider your DC-DC.
Yeah.
So move forward.
Yeah. So what we've done in this van as well is, as we always do, so with regards to the DC-DC charger, the DC-DC charger will push about 700 watts of recharge into the battery, as well as the 1150 watts coming in from the roof, prospectively. And then on top of that, if you're not moving, you also have the ability to plug in about 400 watts of portable solar panel into the side of this van as well, through a separate solar regulator. So as always, the way we set the systems up is that each charger does a job in its own right, independently of all the other chargers. So your 240 volt charger is your MultiPlus. It will charge at a rate, as well as the 1150 watts of charge on the roof, as well as the DC-DC charger coming in at 700 watts, as well as the 400 watts of recharge coming in from the solar panel. So they're all independent chargers that do their own job.
Right, so that's a specifically designed electrical system to ensure optimal charging according to the components that are married up with each other in their job that they have.
Yeah, and it's also married up to the usage profile that the client has asked for as well. So we always want to make sure that you're getting the best opportunity to get the recharge into your battery as quickly as possible after you've taken the energy out. So, you know, for example, if you're running your air conditioner all night because it's hot, you're taking a significant amount of energy out of your battery. The following day, you want to be able to get that energy in as quickly as possible. So if you've got a system that is choked through a charger, for example, an all-in-one charger, and there's many out there, that has solar coming into it, vehicle charge coming into it, 240 volt charge coming into it, it's your choke point, because it does only have the ability to charge at 30 amps irrespective of source. Whereas with this system, each charger does charging from a separate thing and then goes into the battery as a individual charging unit, and irrespective of what's going on around it. So it doesn't care. It just looks at how much charge is in the battery, and it charges till it gets full. And once the battery's full, then they'll sort of start looking after the loads after that.
Okay, so you look after that for the client, and they don't really need to understand a lot of that, except that have confidence that you know what you're doing and do that to optimize the system. So for the client and the usability, they've got a Cerbo GX, and that is for what, and how can they use that to communicate with you if they have any questions, and what support can you provide through that facility?
So the Cerbo does a couple of things. The Cerbo is a data collector, so it grabs all the information from all the chargers around, the MultiPlus, the battery monitor, the solar regulators and the DC-DC charger, that grabs all of that information and then has the ability to display it on a display for local operation, like, for example, what we've got here. So we've got a Victron Touch GX70 down here. It is taking the information out of the Cerbo and displaying it up there for the client to be able to use. So that's one of the jobs that the Cerbo does. It does another couple of jobs. It does also the information that the tank sensors are sending it collects that information for us to be able to display down there on the touch screen. And then the third thing, which is super important from a backup support perspective, is that it can transmit the information through the Victron VRM, which is a native system that Victron offer, that we can connect up this system to and I can dial into that, I can connect to that remotely. So you could be parked on a beach somewhere with Starlink and you might have a couple of questions about what's going on. I can connect up to your system remotely from here, and I can say, oh yeah, okay, no, that looks about right. What, are you parked in shade, or have you not got your solar panel plugged in, your portable solar panel plugged in, or has it been cloudy? Has the weather been overcast, for example? Has the weather been overcast, for example, or is there a problem? Do we need to get you into somewhere where you can have it looked at? Or can we do that remotely? We can also do updates remotely as well. So that's another function that the Cerbo takes control of and takes care of. So with all of these Victron systems that we're installing, we connect them to the VRM. You have the ability to dial into that yourself. I have the ability to look at that as well. And it gives us the ability to do a bit of remote monitoring for you as well, if that's something that you're interested in. So moving on, a couple of extra things that we always do in these systems as well. So obviously, as we've talked about already, the 240 volt is completely integrated into the van. So there are power points around the van. There aren't that many in this particular van, in this little tiny van, but they've got one outside in their kitchen. Sorry, their kitchen's down there, which they can plug their induction cooker into. They've got one in their tunnel boot, which is next to their fridge, so they could have something else in that front there. Their air conditioner is obviously running through the system now as well, so they can run their air conditioner from the battery system. We've put an RCD Duo on that down here in the switchboard down here, so some additional safety. They can actually run their hot water system from this as well, so that it's a Truma hot water system that they can turn on and off through the system. So yeah, it's an awesome little system for this size van. It was quite surprising when we actually got the van and started measuring out the roof and worked out how much we could actually fit on the roof of this thing. It's awesome. It's so good. This little van is, these guys have been super excited. One of the things they actually said to us was that this is perfect for them, this van, so they don't need anything extra. It's got a toilet, shower, it's got a double bed, it's got a fridge, it's got outdoor kitchen. They like the outdoor living. So this size van for them was absolutely perfect for what they wanted to do. So,
are they planning a trip, Dan? Or?
Yeah, I mean, they plan little trips at this stage, but definitely getting towards that retirement age. They've got a few more years of working to go yet, but they're definitely intention is to travel once they're ready, and then they work away as well. So there's obviously opportunity to do that when they come home from work on their days off. So anyway, guys, that's probably enough at this stage with this little van. It's been fun working on this one. It's just been really interesting to see what we can get out of it. And, you know, like the battery system, as always, is awesome. It's going to give them heaps of fun and heaps of opportunities to travel. So we're looking forward to doing the handover in about half an hour's time. We'll see you in the next one. If you've got any comments or questions, hit us up on social media, either through YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. We'd be more than happy to chat to you about it. Cheers, guys.